Assalamualaikum and very good morning. So in the last semester, I had a conversation with my friends through video call. So we were asking about everyone's life. Some of us are having a good life, and some of us are having difficulties during this challenging time, which is COVID pandemic. So suddenly, one of my friends were asking about things that makes me wonder and think until today. She said like this, I am Muslim. And I am practicing Islamic rituals such as I'm praying 5 times a day, I'm fasting during the Ramadan, and I'm reciting the Quran. But why do I still feel empty from the inside? Why do I feel hopeless? And when I need help, where's the God? And when I need Him the most? So my research is more focusing on to this kind of situation, which is to examine the relationship between the religious practices and spiritual beliefs on depression, anxiety, and stress among public university students in Klang Valley. So, the objective of my research is more focusing on to the mental health, which divided into three kind of emotional states, which are stress, anxiety, and depression. And the antecedent variable, which is the gender, which is male and female. So I'm more focusing on these two factors and these two gender. Okay, so to see whether there is a relationship between religious practices, spiritual beliefs, and mental health among public students in Klang Valley. So there are about 442 respondents which were involved in my research, and also involve about 4 public university students, UPM, UKM, UM, and UITM Inshallah. Okay, so I chose Klang Valley because Klang Valley is a metropolitan area which is about over 6 million people and is a major administrative business and industrial center in Malaysia, stated by the Department of Statistics Malaysia in 2010. And also Klang Valley has the people who live there, especially the students who live there, which prone to higher mental health issues which are more complex and problems related to social, cultural, and economic survival. So based on the executive summary Malaysia education, there is about the number of students in public and private education of higher education institutions are about as many 1 million people. So according to the sample size formulation by Cressy Morgan in 1970 and Seckering in 2003, the population size is 1 million. So the ideal sample size that I choose is about is 384. A final of 442 respondents from these 4 universities were selected. And for my independent variable, I choose religiosity and spirituality skill for youth to explore and identify underlying factors regarding the various beliefs, practices, and coping methods related to religiosity and spirituality. And for the religious practices, the example item that I can list down here is that first, for religious practices, I attend prayer groups and I watch religious TV shows or movies. So these like a physical practices. And for the spiritual beliefs, it is the example of it are when something bad happens, I know God is trying to make me stronger, and my belief in God gives my life meaning. So it's more spiritually. So it from the inside of our heart, right? Okay, next is from the depression, anxiety, and stress. It is to test using the TAS-21 instrument, which is published by Lovibon. It is to measure the emotional states of depression, anxiety, and stress. So I use this to measure this kind of emotional state for depression. The example item here is I couldn't seem to experience any positive feeling at all. For anxiety, I was aware of dryness of my mouth, and for stress, I found it hard to wind down. Okay, so this instrument has cut-off scores, which is divided into conventional severity level, such as normal, mild, moderate, severe, and extreme. Okay, so there are two parts that I use, which are statistical, which is descriptive statistic and also inferential statistic. So for the social demographic background, I use descriptive tests, and also to test the level of the variables, I use descriptive test too, okay, to identify the level of each variable. Okay, so what I can conclude here that from the level of the religious practice, there are about most of the students or respondents here are practicing the religious in moderate level. Okay, and also for the spiritual beliefs, they are high level for the respondents, which they hold the spiritual beliefs in the high level, which is about 88.9%. And also for the level of the mental health, including stress, anxiety, and depression, I can conclude that from this figure, which is anxiety has the highest mean, which means that most of the students of or public university students, they are feeling anxious throughout this challenging era, which is the COVID pandemic. So they are going to adapt with a new norm, and they are going to adjust a new environment, which might be they involve into online classes, or they have to balance with life issues such as financial, family, or personal matters at the same time. So it's quite anxious for them. Okay, so next, I also test the gender to mental health using the t-test. Okay, and the result shows here that there is no significant difference at all for the male and female towards mental health. So it is also supported by several research that shows that there is no significance as well for these three: depression, anxiety, and stress towards male and female. Okay. All right, so next, for the religious practices and spiritual beliefs on mental health, here I use the Pearson correlation, and my finding has shown that only spiritual beliefs has the negative correlation with depression. Negative correlation here means that if if an individual practices beliefs, spiritual beliefs in his or her life, the depression can be reduced at the same time, and also the vice versa. But however, religious practices has no significant difference toward other three emotional states. But however, for spiritual belief, it has significant value for the depression. So using the regression analysis for depression, it is clearly here stated that there is a different significance for the spiritual beliefs, okay, where it is the p-value, it is lower than the fixed p-value, which is 0.01. So there is a significant value. But however, for religious practices, it does not affect the depression at all. Okay, so spiritual beliefs is the major impact towards the depression among the public university students. Okay, so here what I can conclude that most of the public university students or my own respondents, they apply the religious practices in their lives moderately with high spiritual beliefs. And also most of us students, we experience anxiety, okay, throughout our studies in university during this COVID-19 pandemic. Also, my study indicates that there are no gender differences in depression, anxiety, and stress among the public university students. There is no relationship between religious practices, depression, anxiety, and stress. And also, there is no relationship between spiritual struggles, anxiety, and stress. However, there is a negative correlation between spiritual struggles and depression that indicates two opposite direction. Okay, and last but not least, spiritual beliefs is the most significant predictor in determining depression. So what I can conclude here is that spiritual beliefs, we need to have a very strong and firm belief toward our own God and our own religion, that it may give us the life meaning, and we can more understand on how to endure and to face the difficulties in our life, regardless of the practices that we do in our daily life. Okay, so I think that's all from me. Thank you.